Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. I thought no one was there.
No, I'm so sorry, Maharaj. Just give me 2 or 3 minutes. The student is just coming.
Okay. Are you studying over there?
Maharaj, I came here I'm a dentist, so I came here for a dental observership here in Michigan.
For what?
For internship.
Oh, internship. Are you doing your intern there? Oh.
Yes, Maharaj.
You're near to Ann Arbor, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I know Ann Arbor. Big college town.
Oh, really, Maharaj? You also studied here in Ann Arbor?
No, but when I was a Sankirtan devotee, we went there and did book distribution.
Wow. So nice to hear that, Maharaj. I was looking for someone who had done street book distribution in Michigan.
Yeah, we did. We traveled there, and of course, Ann Arbor was very good. A lot of books we sold there. We'd go in the dormitories, you know. I hear Harmony House is there also, isn't it?
Wait, sorry, Maharaj, which house?
Is it Harmony House? There's a thing called Harmony House. Is it?
Maybe because of freezing, the snowing here, I couldn't go outside, so I don't know much about the areas and the houses about in here in Ann Arbor or Michigan.
No, there's one devotee. He's a disciple of Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. His name is something Madhava. And he's begun a nice preaching project there. I met people there. Oh, I
really, I'm also a disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's this one Madhava, he made a project there in Michigan. I thought it was in Ann Arbor, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a very nice dynamic preaching program, and they don't call it ISKCON, they call it something like Harmony House.
Oh, I will definitely search it out about this, Maharaj. But I was a desire to visit Alaucha Temple in Florida. Because I've heard that is kind of a gang of Srila Prabhupada's disciples live there, so I really want to visit.
Florida.
Yeah, the Alaucha Temple.
Alachua, yeah.
But honestly speaking, Maharaj, the only fear I have to visit Florida is that lizard which I asked you in the class.
Oh yeah, you don't like lizards, yeah.
I've heard there are a lot of lizards in Florida, the crocodile. So that is my conditioning, but that's true that I'm afraid of visiting it just because of the lizards.
Yeah, it's a bit tropical there. So you'll get lizards there, yeah.
I was even, Maharaj, looking for a devotee who can help me to understand, or who can help me to not be bothered with these kind of lizards and serve there in the Laucha temple.
I don't know. It's just a matter of mind. Control your mind, you know.
Yes, Maharaj.
You have to put aside your fears. Become fearless. Right?
Yes, Maharaj. Trying this a lot.
Our whole program of Krishna consciousness is that we should become fearless.
Yes, Maharaj.
And in your profession, because you're in the hospitals, so you see a lot of suffering and so on.
Yes.
So you can learn to be fearless.
I really wanted to know one thing, Maharaj. Here in America, a lot of people are in a drunken or in a drug stage, and like sometimes they are very kind of aggressive in nature, sometimes they just going to attack you in a hospital. So I was like, whenever I see those people, I just wonder how Srila Prabhupada like convinced those kind of peoples to join Krishna consciousness. So that I really want to know, like, you were with Srila Prabhupada and
what happened?
Maharaj. Yeah, so I was asking Maharaj, have you ever seen like how Srila Prabhupada convinced the people in America who are so in a drunken state and who are having drugs? Because honestly speaking, I'm even afraid to go in front of them and just ask something, like just to preach them. So I really wanted to know, you have seen, if you have ever seen Srila Prabhupada doing or convincing those people. So I really want to know, Maharaj.
Well, you know, Prabhupada, generally, he liked us to do everything peacefully, you know.
Recording in progress.
Prabhupada was very tolerant about everything, and any issues which came up, then he would have the devotees around him take care of it. But sometimes things got out of hand. You know, like sometimes devotee would get a bit physical and fight with the people. And Prabhupada, he didn't like to see that. And he was worried. One time it happened in Holland. A devotee had a fight with somebody, and Prabhupada he said it was not good. He said it could have been a riot. It could have been a whole big battle. He said, we definitely don't want to encourage that kind of thing. You know, Prabhupada wanted to keep the peace. You know, we're a peaceful movement. But sometimes you have to fight. Sometimes you have to be aggressive. Especially in the USA, it's so dangerous there. One devotee was just telling me he traveled on a Greyhound bus and somebody pulled a knife on him. He said, that's the last time we travel on the bus. He said, he won't take a bus again. You know, he thought, save some money, go on the Greyhound bus. But he said it was really bad. There were fights, and somebody else had a big fight. And he said, very, very bad. Not a good atmosphere. So don't you go on a bus. Don't take a Greyhound bus anywhere.
I just took it last week, Maharaj.
Did you?
Yes, I just took it last week, Greyhound bus, but now I'll be careful about it. Thank you.
Yeah. Was it okay?
Yeah, it was okay. It was a very peaceful one, but there are a lot of different kind of, especially the African or black people. I think they make a lot of issues here. So they were like, I think they were in so much in drug state. They were speaking something very different things. But the best thing is that I was my headphones in my ear, so that I didn't like give them a lot of attention. But yes, I've heard that it is not a safe one, but that was the cheapest option for me. But now I was not aware about that stabbing and all in the bus, so I'll try to avoid that, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you'd be better to avoid. Well, just like myself, you know, in India, I was traveling second class in the train, and there was a big fight. You know, people were kicking each other. Oh, it was terrible, very physical. Women were screaming, and I thought second class trains in India not very good.
They have stopped there used to be previously another scale that Prabhupada used to use. You will remember art class. Finally, the Indian Railways like they eliminated the third class.
Oh,
As a
yeah,
form
the
of-
third, unreserved, yeah. Oh, Krishna. So are there people here now? Can we begin?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay.
Yes, Maharaj.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksuramilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo. Oh, sharing is not turned on. Can we turn on the sharing?
Yes, Maharaj, my bad. Yes, Maharaj, okay?
Yeah, just let me see. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to show this PowerPoint here. Are you able to see the PowerPoint all right, Prabhus?
Yes, Maharaj.
Huh?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay,
Yes,
you're seeing, okay. All right, so maybe we'll start from here. Divisions of faith. Therefore, Krishna says here, Trivida bhavati shraddha dehinam swabhavaja. If one is cultivating his life like hogs and cats and dogs, the behavior is also like that, and remaining in that position. So his faith, and one who is advanced, who is worshipping deity and having 3 times bath and chanting mantras Hare Krishna, they are not equal. That is not possible because one is situated in the sattva gun and the other is situated in tamagun. Although the tamaguns, the persons who are in the darkness of knowledge, they have got their faith. It is not that they have no faith. They have got faith, but that faith is in the lowest status of life. That faith will not help him for spiritual realization. This is Prabhupada's lecture in Honolulu in 1974 from chapter 17, verses 1 to 3. So Prabhupada is pointing out the difference between devotees, and devotees talking how the devotees are doing their program, and the other people are in the mode of passion or ignorance, and they're doing their thing. And Prabhupada said they've also got faith, but they're not going to get self-realization. It's not, their process is not really, it's not spiritual. That's the point. So we have to understand the difference. It's not only faith, which is important, but there's quality with faith. So some people have faith in the mode of ignorance, and some people's faith is in the mode of goodness. So you get different results according to the faith. All right, so here, just to show the breakdown of the chapter, first of all, began with faith, then we heard about worship and food in the modes. Remember, we spoke about food yesterday? Do you remember some of the qualities about food in the mode of goodness? How should it be? What were some of the qualities? Yes.
Increase the duration of the life.
Yes, increase duration of life. Something else.
Purify the existence.
Purify one's existence. Good. Yes.
Strength, health, happiness, satisfaction.
Yes, good. Strength, health, happiness, satisfaction, nourishment.
Should be juicy and fatty, Maharaj.
Yes, right. They should, foods in the mode of goodness, they should be juicy. Okay, good. And then sacrifice, austerity, and charity in the modes. Sacrifices, we spoke a bit about sacrifices, about how sacrifice meant to do something for the benefit of others. Give something for others, doing things for others' benefit. And we began austerities. We spoke a little bit about austerity of the body. Austerity of the body. Remember, what do you have to do to practice austerity of the body? We have to have respect for who?
For our parents, like our superiors, and for our gurus.
And for the Supreme Lord.
Yeah, for the Supreme Lord too. Yes, Maharaj.
Right. Okay. And charity, we have to talk about that. Those are things that are coming up. So here, austerity in the modes, right? Goodness, passion. First of all, goodness is described in 3-4 verses, then passion, and then ignorance. Austerity. Austerity means austerity of the body, first of all, then words, and then the mind. We have to practice being austere in all these different things, right? Body, mind, and words should be used in the service of Krishna. Actually, there's a verse which says the liberated soul, ihayasya harer dasye karmana manasagira nikilaspapiyavastastu jivan mukta sa uchate. The jivan mukta, meaning liberated soul, he will use his body, mind and words in the service of the Lord. That is the liberated soul. So in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is speaking about cultivating the mode of goodness. And we spoke about the body. Certainly austerity of the body is keeping the body clean and then giving respect for others, for our seniors, and worshipping the Supreme Lord, and mother and father, and teachers and gurus, Brahmins, these things. That is the austerity of the body. And then austerity of words. That is an interesting thing. If you look at the purport there, Prabhupada writes how austerity in words means we should say things, we should speak things so as not to disturb the minds of others. You don't want to disturb, some people are very expert that they can disturb the mind of others. They will say things in such a way that, they're so nasty that they cannot say anything very nice, and they'll simply say things to disturb you. They'll come with harsh words. That's more common. People they don't have control they don't think about what they're saying. But cultivating the mode of goodness, generally, Prabhupada quoted a Sanskrit saying, he said, Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. Satyam, meaning truthfulness, and he said, Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. The meaning is that we should speak the truth, and at the same time make it pleasing. It should be priyam, it should be pleasing. So one who is expert, he will be able to speak things in such a nice way that it will be pleasing to others. And Prabhupada could do that very nicely. Prabhupada was very expert. One time, for example, he was I think it was here in Calcutta, and so they arranged a program at the Rotary Club, one of these clubs, the Rotarian people, where they come and they invite different speakers to come, and the Rotarians they like to do welfare programs and so on. They're usually all successful business people or professionals who've got some standing in the society. They're a little bit well-to-do, better off than the common people, and they often do welfare programs to help others. There's one thing called the Lions Club, and the other thing is called the Rotarian Club. So these two things, they're very similar to each other. The Lions Club, people who are like big men in the community, they come and they have this society and they do welfare programs, try to help where they can. So Prabhupada was invited to speak at one of these programs, and all the big men were there, and Prabhupada lectured on a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. The verse describes people who are like hogs and dogs and camels and asses. They will praise other men of a similar nature. So the verse is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, and so Prabhupada lectured on it and to the Lions Club or the Rotarian Club, and he was telling them how people are like hogs. The hog will eat everything, no discrimination. And some people are like dogs, the doggish mentality. They'll go, they beg for a job. Please give me a job, I will be a good dog for you. And then camels, they will eat thorns and think that thorns are very nice. And asses, they carry a heavy burden just to eat some grass. So Prabhupada was describing all these different animals and how people in society are like that. And the men, the Rotarian people, they were all laughing and they were enjoying. They enjoyed it so much. They were all laughing. Prabhupada was describing it in such an amusing way that they were congratulating Prabhupada. And at the end, they thanked Srila Prabhupada, and they said, thank you so much, you're doing a very good job preaching and delivering this knowledge to the world. And after the program, when Prabhupada came out, Prabhupada was going back to his residence. He said to his secretary, he said, you see, I called them all hogs, dogs, camels and asses, and they've all laughed and they've appreciated it. He said, this is how you should preach. He said, you should be able to preach in this manner so that people are pleased by your words. So, another time there was an incident with our Back to Godhead magazine. The Back to Godhead magazine came out regularly, and what happened was there was an article in the Back to Godhead magazine. It was a section from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The editors had put a section from the Chaitanya Charitamrita into the Back to Godhead magazine, and they'd taken the incident where Lord Chaitanya met with Ballabhacharya. So Ballabhacharya, he's a prominent spiritual master. He's a great acharya. He was a contemporary of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the two of them were friends. Ballabhacharya, you can read in Chaitanya Charitamrita how he met Lord Chaitanya at Allahabad, and then he met again in Jagannath Puri. And so Ballabhacharya, he is well known in India, and he's the founder Acharya of what's called the Pushti Marg. There's a thing called Pushti Marg. They're Vaishnavas. They worship Krishna. They worship Krishna usually as a child. We worship Krishna as the youth, playing the flute in the threefold bending form. But they worship Krishna as a young child, as a young baby. So anyway, they put this section from the Chaitanya Charitamrita into the Back to Godhead magazine. And this section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ballabhacharya had come with some commentary which he'd written on the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he was speaking about it. He was praising it. He said, I've written such a nice commentary. He said, Ballabhacharya had said, my commentary surpasses even that of the Swami. The original commentator on the Srimad Bhagavatam was Sridhar Swami. The Sridhar Swami goes back, a long time ago. And he was the original commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam. And Ballabhacharya came and said, I've written a commentary which surpasses his one. So Lord Chaitanya pointed out that this is not correct. Lord Chaitanya told him that you can't think you can surpass the previous acharyas. And Lord Chaitanya pointed out in a very interesting manner that you can't think you're better than the Swami. If you think you're better than the Swami, then you're not chaste. You should be chaste, Women should be chaste. Like this, Lord Chaitanya pointed out the fault in Ballabhacharya. So this section in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it didn't go down very well with the followers of Ballabhacharya, because these followers of Ballabhacharya, they call Ballabhacharya as Mahaprabhu. He is the Mahaprabhu for them, you see. And he's like he wrote this big commentary, very famous commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. But Lord Chaitanya pointed out some defects with the Vallabhacharya. So the people, some people in India, some of the life members, they got the magazine, the Back to Godhead magazine, and they saw this article about Vallabhacharya, and they didn't like it, and they got upset, and they went to the lady who gave Prabhupada the passage on her ship to go to America. Her name was Srimati Morari Ji. She was the head of the Scindia Shipping Company, and she lived in Juhu, and Prabhupada used to go to her house, and Prabhupada managed to get her to give the passage on the boat to go to America. So when these men saw the article in the Back to Godhead, they went to her and they told her that, look, you've sent this man to America and he's teaching this stuff about our Guru. This is not good. That this Bhaktivedanta Swami is preaching against our Mahaprabhu, that our Mahaprabhu was wrong and he did things, so that they blamed her about it. And so she wrote to Prabhupada and she asked Prabhupada about this. So Prabhupada wrote back to her and he explained to her, he said, actually, Vallabhacharya and Lord Chaitanya, they were friends. And when Lord Chaitanya said like that to him, it was not taken, it was not an insulting, but it was just pointing out some fact. And then Prabhupada also said that you have to forgive my editors, the editors of our magazine. They have not learned Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat. In other words, they have not learned to speak the truth in a manner to make it pleasing. So this is the point, But Prabhupada then also writes in the purport there in the Bhagavad Gita that this is a social etiquette. He said, but in preaching, we're not required to follow that kind of thing. In preaching, sometimes you have to be bold, you have to speak the truth. Even though it may not be very pleasant, you have to speak the truth, because sometimes in the course of preaching, sadhu, he has to cut the knot of attachment to the material world. So this is the thing, that on one hand, so the social standards are there, and you'll speak things and you want to say them nicely and follow the social etiquette. But on the other hand, when it comes to preaching, then you don't have to follow that kind of etiquette. Just like Vidura came back to Hastinapur to preach to Dhritarashtra. So when Vidura was talking to Dhritarashtra, he spoke very strongly to him, because he has to cut the knot of attachment. And he told Dhritarashtra, he said, look, you're staying here in the home of your enemies. Bhima killed all your sons, and you are eating the remnants of his food. He said, this is terrible. How can you do like this? He killed all your sons, and you are eating the remnants of his food every day. So, and he would tell Dhritarashtra that, you were born blind, and now all the other organs in your body they're practically useless. You cannot hardly hear. You could never see anything. You cannot hear anything. You don't have any power to digest food, and so on. So many things, telling him that you have to understand you're going to die very soon. You have to do something. You have to get ready. So Vidura was speaking strongly because he wants to get Dhritarashtra to detach himself from the home and to go out of the house and to endeavor for some purification. So when you preach, and Prabhupada could preach very boldly sometimes. He used words which people didn't like, right? Prabhupada would use words like rascal, fool, nonsense. He would speak and some people would get very upset that, oh, he's using these words. And Prabhupada would call scientists all rascals, all cheaters, so many things. So Prabhupada, he said, for preaching, there's no rules, because you have to cut the knot of attachment to material things. But generally, words should be, spoken in a nice way, being kind. And Prabhupada could also be very nice. I remember in Calcutta bringing life members there to meet Prabhupada, and Prabhupada received them so nicely, and he spoke to them about what is your business and everything. And they were so impressed, they really liked Prabhupada. They thought he was a very nice man. But sometimes he would speak very strongly. Sometimes he when he thought there was a need for it, he would speak very powerfully. So that's preaching. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used to say, for preaching, you have to have some fire. You have to have some life. A dead man cannot be a preacher. If you don't have any life, then you never influence people. Some of our most powerful preachers, their lectures are very animated, and they really can affect people. People will feel, tears will come to their eyes and so on. They will speak so powerfully that they go to the heart. So like that, different words, we have to learn to use our words in the service of Lord Krishna. Any questions about this? Everybody clear? We have to know when to speak strongly and when to be pleasing. When we don't just want to flatter people. Sometimes we think words which are pleasing, we should flatter them. Oh yes, oh it's so good that you're such a pious person. And even we're told in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that if you approach someone, you can say, my dear sir, you're so pious, you're so learned, you have so much knowledge. Kindly forget everything you know and just take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Krishnadas Kaviraj says it in such a nice way. Just forget everything you know. I know you're very learned, but just forget it all and take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. So that's austerity of words. Of course, another kind of austerity of words is to recite the scriptures, recite the Vedas and so on. And we do that, regularly. We're reciting things like Shikshastikam. And in the morning at Mangalarti we sing Guru Vastikam. So we do have these kind of activities within the temple program. Sometimes maybe coming up to Purushottam Mass, there's a special song which people sing in Purushottam Mass. And during Kartik, people like to sing Gopi Geet. And we also sing, of course, Damodarastikam in Kartik. So this is austerity of words and reciting different verses and scripture or sections of the scriptures. Sometimes we will sing the Ishopanishad.
Maharaj?
Yes?
Going back to your comment on like preaching strongly in the service of Prabhupada. These days we also see trend emerging. Like I think it's this preaching strongly in the service of Prabhupada seems to be out of fashion, and it's like more like love bombing people. So, I'm asking this question because I've seen this trend in India also, in Pakistan also quite popular, this love bombing preaching. And like we have to, how should I say this? Like speaking pleasingly. Sometimes it becomes so much so like it borders comical. Yeah. What is comical? It's just So then, and the downside of that, what I have noticed is people start mimicking that kind of preaching. Like that kind of, like love bombing seems to be like being. I think that might gives an impression that you are an avatar of compassion. I'm sorry to say, but these things I just cannot. I mean, devotees of voice. I have seen people becoming victims to that, and then those devotees are like, while they are on that Vyasasan, on that podium, on that pedestal, that's like love bombing going on, and right after they are off that high seat, then the real self comes out. And the same thing I've seen when the newbie preachers, the new kids on the block, they learn that they ape that thing, and I've seen the preaching has like ultimately the effect of preaching is disastrous. Mm-hmm. Like you see, it's like you find like those people like very shallow, Maharaj. So and as I said, because the preaching strongly in the service of Prabhupada seems to be not in vogue anymore. It's like out of fashion.
Then, of course, Bhakti-Shastri Swami published the book like that, didn't he? Speaking strongly in Srila Prabhupada's service.
Yeah, that book hasn't reached Pakistan yet, Maharaj.
Bhakti-Shastri is a very powerful preacher, and he doesn't compromise. But he's successful. He certainly attracts a lot of people, gets a lot of followers, a lot of attention. So, love bombing, huh? And something I never heard of this before. This is something new to me. Usually we just speak about flattery, being able to get people by flattering them.
Yeah, that's the flattery. Oh, we have to like embrace these devotees to our hearts. Oh, everybody it's like that, whatever nonsense you are doing, whatever you are doing, what do we care? As long as you give me my donation and you come and touch my feet, flatter me. That's like, I don't know who is flattering whom. I feel that like the speaker is flattering to the audience, and audience is coming in hundreds and thousands of flattering back. And
I know there's this one group which they have from India, and they're there in Hong Kong also, and they will say things, they want to say things like, they say, oh, you don't have to be afraid of death, when you die, oh, you'll just be like going into another room and all your old friends will be there. You know? You know, it's quite different how they present it and how it's presented in Srimad Bhagavatam. You know, they want to make it water everything down and say, you know, just like they have annual vegetarian day, you know, one day in the year vegetarian, you know, it's just so ridiculous. So definitely we do need to speak strongly, and words are powerful. Words, they say the pen is mightier than the sword. So the written word, and we know certainly Prabhupada's words were, you know, his books, very powerful. Certainly could change people's lives. They had that potency. Just because he spoke the truth. All right. So austerity of words. We do need to control the words and use them for preaching, not flattering. And then austerity of the mind. How is that described in Bhagavad Gita? Yes, somebody can read.
Satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind.
Okay, so austerity of the mind. Definitely we do need to fix the mind and control the mind. So if the body and words are being properly used in the service of Krishna, and actually it's the mind which comes first, isn't it? The mind has to be fixed on Krishna, and then when the mind is properly controlled, then the words and the body will also be used nicely for the service of Krishna. So Maharaja Ambarishi's example is there. First thing, Sabai Mana Krishna Pararavindaya. First of all, fix the mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So we do have to be very conscious of the mind and have the mind in the right mood. Let's hear these qualities again, Maharaji, please. Yes, can you read them again?
Yes, Maharaj.
Austerity of the mind.
Yeah. And satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind.
Satisfaction, that's an important thing. Lord Krishna, when the Brahmana came there to Dwarka, you know, when Rukmini was to be married to Sishupal, she wrote a letter to Lord Krishna in Dwarka, and she sent a Brahmana with the letter. So the Brahmana brought the letter to Dwarka and met Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna then, before he read the letter, he first of all questioned the Brahmana, that how are you, my dear Brahmana? Are you performing your duties nicely? Are you doing your Brahminic? Is your mind peaceful? Are you satisfied? That's very important, to be satisfied. It's really a matter of controlling the mind. You know, sometimes people say, I could not tolerate. No, we have to be very tolerant, and we have to learn to be satisfied. Sometimes not always can we get things the way we want them, but we have to be tolerant. We have to just accept sometimes. So being satisfied, it's very much a part of the mode of goodness. To keep the mind Don't be of course we do try to do more. We like to do more for Krishna's service. I'd like to do better and give better, offer the best to Krishna. But sometimes we have to be satisfied with what Krishna arranges. Okay. And then in addition to that, there's austerity in passion and austerity in ignorance. All right? We'll go ahead here. And the next thing. Okay. Prabhupada's clarity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating. To be conscious not to agitate everybody. Some people are very expert, but they can be very agitating. And being truthful, but that's also not very common in Kali Yuga. People are not very truthful. They tell so many lies. Pleasing, beneficial. Certainly what we say should be, if we are speaking Krishna conscious philosophy, then it will be truthful and it will be beneficial. It may not be pleasing and it may not, and it may also agitate others, but we're speaking the truth and it's beneficial for them. So we're meant for preaching these things. For devotees, as preachers, we don't have to be so much concerned with what's the etiquette. Prabhupada's purport. When a teacher speaks, he can speak the truth for the instruction of his students. But such a teacher should not speak to those who are not his students, if he will agitate their minds. So this is important. We have to know who we can speak to, who are our students and who's not. We often get problems with devotees. Sometimes somebody is a devotee and they try to instruct some other person who's coming to the temple. And then you get conflicts, They will say, "Who are you? You don't tell me what to do," and like that. So they agitate somebody's mind by trying to give them instructions. So Prabhupada is saying you have to know who is your student. They have to accept your authority. If they don't, you don't want to be trying to instruct them if they don't accept you. If somebody's like a new devotee, they may be trying to instruct people, and people have been coming to temple for a long time. They don't like to get instructions from some new person. So a lot of problems in temples, a lot of dealings between devotees can be overcome if we know this etiquette, who to speak to and who not to, and when to instruct people and when not to instruct. And Prabhupada talks more about it here. A lecture to college students. He says, it is social convention that if you want to speak truth, you speak truth very palatable, flattering. So that is social convention. Don't speak unpalatable truth. But we are not meant for that purpose, social convention. We are preacher. We are servant of God. We must speak the real truth. You may like it or may not like it, that a godless civilization cannot be happy in any stage. That is a fact. Prabhupada's lecturing to college students in Seattle, in 1960. Oh, 1960 what? I don't know.
1960, yeah.
Anyway, Seattle, big college town. And Prabhupada was traveling there, preaching there.
Maharaj, there are a couple of questions in the chat box.
Okay, yeah.
First is like what Haripriya said, clarification. What is gravity in this context? What is meant by gravity?
Oh, that's in relation to speech, is it? Or words?
Quality.
Quality. But in which section is it being used?
It's in mind, Maharaj. Mind.
The mind. In relation to the mind, gravity. Okay, so gravity being grave. Yeah, devotee won't be, it shouldn't be joking around and, fooling around. It should be serious, grave. He's conscious. Particularly if he's presenting some philosophical point or teaching some people, lecturing, he's going to be grave. He will be serious about it. It won't be, it's not a joke. He won't take it lightly, but it will be serious. He wants to impress people about the importance of what he's speaking. So gravity is like that. You want to be conscious of your mood. The mood should be serious. The mood should not be frivolous, joking around and fooling. Yeah, we like humor, but humor has its time and place. Not all the time. So generally, the mood, the devotee should be grave, should be serious about things. When we're chanting Hare Krishna, when we're doing our puja, worshipping the deity and so on, you have to be very conscious. So you have to be conscious of that requires gravity. If one's not properly controlling his mind, if he's taking things very casually, he won't be grave. And you won't get such good results. Yes, Prabhu?
Yes, thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, there's another hand up by Doshna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. So I have a question. As you earlier said that we have to speak truth but in a pleasing way. So at the same time we have to be tolerant and accept, sometimes be satisfied. So at this point, what should we do?
You have to accept and be satisfied, yes. Well, we have to speak the truth, and we have to make it pleasing, right? So, is it difficult? You say something, you say it in a nice way, You have to say it in a manner in which people they won't be offended. You're going to temple. Usually when we go to the temple, we tie our hair up. We don't have our hair hanging over our shoulders because we're going to the temple. So it's. We just want, we like to see, ladies in the temple, they have their hair tied, they don't just have it hanging all over their shoulders. This is, so we can speak about these things, and when you come to the temple, oh, you shouldn't have come in a mini skirt, can you take this cloth and wrap it around your legs, please? Because, your dress is not very appropriate for coming to temple. And sometimes, you have to deal with these kind of things. People come to temple and they're not properly dressed, but they want to go in the temple. So we make arrangements. Oh, yeah, it's nice you're coming to the temple. We're very happy you're coming to temple. But please, could you just wrap this cloth around yourself, because you've got these shorts on, and it's not very nice to come in the temple like that. We have a dress code here. So please, would you mind just to take this cloth and wrap it around your legs? Some things like this, these kind of situations, you have to be, nice and talking to people. Don't mind it. Don't mind I'm not criticizing just you, but we have this standard here. So if you could help us, you can please follow.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Maharaj, there are more questions in the chat box. I think these devotees do not like to talk to you, but they have questions. That's why they send the questions in the question box and expecting me to voice those questions. They possibly do not so much like talking to you. So the question is, Maharaj, what should the people that they should chant and do Krishna service who have no background in spirituality? Is it? What is the best way to present the concept of Krishna consciousness to people who do not chant, do not do any service? What would be the first step for new devotees to come to Krishna consciousness? It's a question.
Well, generally, I would think it's very nice to get them to chant Hare Krishna. Let them join in the kirtan. When we have kirtan, we explain to them the mantra. It's very simple, just 3 words, and we'd like you to join with us and chant. So I think that's important for people before they do any service. Let them chant the holy names. Because as soon as they chant the holy names, then their spiritual life has begun. And that's very good. We want them all to begin their spiritual life. So let them chant first, and once they've chanted, joined the kirtan for a little while, then we invite them to do some service. Yeah, do something. Take part and help. Do something. Might be take out the garbage, might be wash the pots or clean the stove or whatever.
This is, what do you call that? Sugarcane. Oh, sorry. Mara, there's another question here. What something about lying? It's like Mehak Mulani. Is it right to tell a lie for someone's benefit? Loaded question.
Is it right to tell a lie for someone's benefit?
Yeah.
Well, there's a story about that, that the gang of thieves were chasing one man was carrying a lot of gold, and there's a gang of thieves chasing after him. And the man carrying the gold, he ran into the forest. And the thieves came and they saw this Brahmana. And this Brahmana had vowed not to tell a lie. So they asked him, where did that man go? And he pointed into the forest. So the thieves went into the forest and they killed the man and took all the gold. So the Brahmana who told them where the man was, he got sinful reactions because he he sent the thieves into the forest where they could kill the man. So certainly there are times where you have to lie. You have to do it. Sometimes you can't be sentimental and just think, oh, I want to tell the truth. And that's what happened with Maharaj Yudhisthira. It said his chariot never used to touch the ground, but he hesitated to tell a lie. When Lord Krishna asked him to tell a lie, he hesitated. And from that time on, his chariot touched the ground. Some people say, oh, his chariot touched the ground because he told a lie. But no, the chariot came down to the ground because he hesitated to tell the lie. So sometimes you have to lie for the service of Krishna. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he used to tell about his disciples, how they would talk about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. They'd say, he lives on tulsi leaves. And Prabhupada would laugh. You know, they said, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he just lives on tulsi leaves and water. So Prabhupada laughed. He thought it's very funny. So these kind of lies, white lies for the service of Krishna. One devotee, in Prabhupada's time, there was one devotee distributing books. Prabhupada said he was an incarnation of book distribution. All right, he was an incarnation of book, but you know, he is whatever people were into. He would say, "It's in the book. This is in our book." You know, they want to know about. I don't know. They want to know about politics or economic development. And so he said, yeah, it's all here in the book. Take this Bhagavatam. And he would distribute a lot of books. But Prabhupada also told him, Prabhupada said, they should want to take the book. You should not force them. So, you know, lying, we don't want to make a habit of telling lies. It's definitely not good for us. We do want to speak the truth. But there may be times you have to know, there may be certain situations where it's worthwhile to tell the lie, where you have to do it. But you don't want to make a habit that every day you'll be telling lies. That's not the way it should be. You don't want to just go around telling lies everywhere. No, we're devotees. We should be truthful. Okay, so then, next thing, charity in the modes. So charity, there are three kinds of charity: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Sattvic charity in goodness is with due consideration. That is the worthy place to give charity in the hands of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, because they will employ whatever you give them in the service of the Lord. And Rajasic means for the sake of name. Oh, people will say, I am so charitable. That is Rajasic. And Tamasic, one who does not know where the money is going. Just like in the Bowery Street, that drunkard comes and polishes the motor car, and somebody gives him $5, and he immediately goes to drink. That means this charity means give him impetus for drinking. So if charity creates such drunkard, that is very dangerous. He has to suffer, the man who is giving in charity. From a lecture in Los Angeles, February 1968. So charity in the modes, we have to understand how there is quality in charity. People are often not aware, they don't think about it. You give some charity to someone, you often find young people sometimes in the street, they come up to you and ask, oh, have you got some money, I need some money. And if you give them money, they may take it and go and buy drugs, or they go and buy drink, alcohol, whatever. So we have to be very careful about how we give charity and who we give charity to. So the best charity, you can see, well, here's Rajasic. Generally, among people giving money to the temple, they will give it more in the mode of passion. They want to know how their name is becoming prominent. They're happy if they see that their name has been put up in bright lights. So that is charity in the mode of passion, or Rajasic. But charity in the mode of goodness, then it will be done without knowledge. You won't tell people. You just do it. You just give the money indiscreetly. Nobody knows. Just like I was at a program the other day and the prasadam was sponsored. But the man who sponsored the prasadam, he didn't want his name mentioned. Because, well, some people have good reasons they don't want to give the name. If you mention your name, then people will come to you and ask you for more charity. They'll come and try to get money from you, and, oh, would you like to give money? Can you give for this? And can you get more people, you get a line of people all coming to you. Please, I need this, we need that. And so people like to be a little more discreet about giving charity. And it should be given to the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Of course, in temple, when we give money, we usually give in the temple. And sometimes, it happens that these people, they're sitting in the temple, maybe they have a table there, and somebody comes along and they give donation at the table. And so the man at the table, he's taking a percentage for himself. The money's not all going to the temple. So that's a problem. We have issues like that sometimes, that you gave the money at the table, and the people at the table, they're taking a good percentage for themselves. So that kind of charity is not the best. But you go to a holy place, Prabhupada mentions about if you go to a holy place and then there's a special time, like when there's an eclipse. At the time of an eclipse, that's a time to give charity. And also, the people on a holy day or the weekend, even like that, it's a good time to give the charity. And devotees, we like to give to the Krishna consciousness movement. We like to give to the society that could be used for preaching programs, for prasadam distribution, or for literature distribution. This is all very good charity. They have Shastra Dan, right? And they will distribute, people will give money for the books, and devotees can go and distribute the books to people. But we have to be conscious that the modes are also there in charity. And you can be giving charity in the mode of ignorance, which is going to be harmful, it will bring some reaction on you. If we give money to somebody for drugs or something, then we get karma for that because we give them the money. Now, one problem which comes is, what about if the mother and father are retired and then you're working and you give money to your mother and father and they use it to buy meat or to buy non-vegetarian food? So what about that? How to deal with that kind of situation? Because if you give them money and they buy meat and so on, then it's not very good for us.
Recording stopped.
Any comments on this? Giving charity and then people buying meat, and can be our own family.
Maharaj?
Young students, for example, they're going to college and so on. You get money from your parents to go to college, and you may use the money to buy meat or something. What do you say?
If a young student is going to buy a meat, so that is in the mode of ignorance, because he don't know what should he do with that money. But if parents are retired and if his daughter or son has to send money to their parents, so I think in my opinion, Maharaj, the best option could be they buy all the grocery for them and whatever the necessities for them, like the rent of the house, so they can pay by themselves. So these kind of things maybe.
Okay. Yeah. For the rent of the house and things like, definitely, that's all right. But
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Yes.
Maharaj, I want to say, as you say about the children who are giving money to their parents, but in my case, if I am giving money to my children, pocket money for their use, and they are going to buy a sandwich or chicken sandwich like that, so is it bad for me to give them money? I don't know what they are eating, but outside of the home, they are just buying these type of stuff. So is it in the mode of ignorance?
Well, if they're doing things in the mode of ignorance, and it is, yes. What did you say they're doing?
If I'm giving money, pocket money to my children, and they are having a burger or sandwiches, chicken sandwiches, so is it bad for me? Or
yes.
Is it in the mode of ignorance for me or for theirs?
Yeah, for both you. Yeah, because you gave them the money for it, and if they go to the McDonald's or something and they eat some non-vegetarian food, it's not good. It's not good for you, it's not good for them.
But Maharaj, I advise them always that you shouldn't eat meat or like that. But if, like in my family also, I don't, I'm a vegetarian, but I have to cook for my family, non-veg. So is it also bad for me? I shouldn't make, or what should I do?
You cook non-veg for your family?
Yes, Maharaj. Because everyone is in my family, they are non-vegetarian.
Well, you get karma for that. Definitely.
So, how should I say no that I'm not going to make it? It's also very.
If you cook vegetarian dishes which were very pleasing and satisfying, they wouldn't mind.
No, Maharaj, it's not like that. I am a very good cook, in vegetarian especially. I am very good in that. But they are very like habitual of having meat. So
then I would tell them to do it themselves. You tell them that I want to practice my spiritual life, and my spiritual life doesn't allow me to cook this meat for you all the time. You should tell them that you want to eat it, you can cook it yourself.
But when I cook it, I just pray to Krishna that please, Krishna, be merciful on all to them and stop. They have to stop. They should stop eating meat. But
have they stopped? So long as you're cooking, so long as you're cooking, they're not going to stop. Because you're cooking for them all the time. You should tell them, I will cook vegetarian. You want to eat the meat, you cook it yourself. I don't want to cook it anymore.
If my husband become angry on that, so what should I do?
Well, you just if he really appreciates your spiritual practice, he should accept. There's so many other families, they do it in China and in Russia and like that. The man wants to eat meat, go out and eat it then. Go out yourself and eat it, but I don't want to cook it. I don't want it in the house. That would be the best thing. You tell, I don't want it in the house. I want our home to be vegetarian. And just you have to tell them that this is something which is very important, and I don't want this animal foods to be in the home. It's not good. It's not good for you, and it's not good for the family. Everyone. You have to make a standard. You have to tell them what is the standard. This is the standard. We don't compromise on this. It's very important. Srila Prabhupada was in London. One man came to the temple. He said, Swamiji, please come to my home. Come and visit my home. So Prabhupada asked him. He said, do they cook meat in your home? And the man said, well, yes, sometimes, sometimes my wife will cook some non-vegetarian. Then Prabhupada said, then I will not come. Prabhupada said like that. He wouldn't even go to the home. If you're cooking non-vegetarian. So the man changed. After that, then he went home, he told the family, no more non-veg. He said, we have to be vegetarian. You have to take it seriously. You have to understand how important that is. Your husband's getting older, and you're giving him meat.
In progress.
Meat is not good for him to digest in the older age. It's not good for his health. So many diseases come from eating non-vegetarian food. You want to be good to them, take care of your family. You're not doing good for them by cooking meat for them. You're killing them. You would be better to tell them, I want you to live long. I want you to be healthy. You should eat vegetarian. You have to understand how important it is. And so many people have had to experience, sometimes it's seafood, they eat seafood, they get very sick. And they vow, oh, never again going to eat this. So, you really think, if you think about this seriously, then you understand that it's very important. You really want to help your family, you want to show them the right thing, you have to tell them this is important. And if they love you, they should do this for you. It's not that you should cook the meat for them. You've already been doing it for so many years. Now tell them, now in my older age, I want to finish my life vegetarian. I want to do it. But when you cook, you get the karma. You get the same karma as the people eating. Everyone gets it. The people who buy the meat, the people who cook the meat, the people who eat the meat, the people who kill the animals and raise the animals, they're all getting karma. So you're cooking, you're also getting karma. So we're very serious about these things. We have a standard like that. Usually if somebody's cooking meat, the Manasamhita said you get the same karma as the people eating the meat. So usually these kind of people, they won't get initiation because they're still cooking meat, purchasing meat. They're not free of karma. So they would not be acceptable for diksha. That's a standard. That's a standard which we have. We want people to know this is our standard. It's important. We're chanting the holy name. So we want to understand religious principles. Mercy. One of the there's four principles of religion, and one is mercy. And we cannot be merciful if we're cooking meat. And some people say, I never killed anything. But you're eating, you're cooking, you're eating. You never killed, but you pay other people to kill. You're paying them money to kill, just so you can eat. So anyway, that's the position. It's good you brought it up because it's an important point, and we do stress it on people. And if you can stop it, you'll see the change. You see the change.
I have tried a lot. Again and again. I just try to convince them, my family, especially my daughters, because I'm living in a joint family. But I'm trying to convince my daughters and husband that they shouldn't eat. But they are still not convinced. But I'll try again and again to convince them. And I'll strictly try not to cook for them. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. That will be very good. You tell them you want to eat, you cook it yourself. You don't want to.
Maharaj.
Yes?
If someone can't understand about the feelings and that we can't made for you, you made yourself. If someone can't understand this thing, and they force us that you have to made, so it's good to argue with them.
Well, argue. You don't need to argue. You just tell them, look, this is the scriptures. It says it in the scriptures. These things. I'm just following scripture. There's no argument. We just want to follow scripture. The scriptures are there. Manu Samhita, law book for mankind. Yeah, so these are things which you have to consider. If you're serious about spiritual life, you want to make spiritual progress, you want to go back to Godhead, you want to please Krishna, you have to do these things. And you have to know what is the real standard. And this was Prabhupada's standard. So I'm just telling you, I learned from him. He learned from his guru. Well, Prabhupada said his whole life, he never even drank tea. You know, he was brought up in a Vaishnava family. So he said, my whole life I never even drank tea. And there was an incident when Prabhupada was a young boy that he had some fever. And the doctor came, and the doctor said, you have to feed him chicken soup. And they said, what? They were shocked. They said, chicken soup? They said, we never cook it. The doctor said, he's going to die unless you give him chicken soup. So what happened was somehow they got some chicken and they cooked it, and they went and when they put a spoonful of the soup in the mouth of the little boy, Prabhupada, when he's a little boy, and he vomited. He vomited. He couldn't even drink it. So then they said, okay, forget it. No more. They wouldn't give they said, and we'll just leave it up to Krishna. Krishna will protect him. And Krishna saved him. He didn't die. So that's a true story that happened to Prabhupada when he was a child. So these are the kind of things. Okay, so charity. Oh, that's 18th chapter. Oh, there's some other points in the chapter. We didn't do Om Tat Sat, right? Om Tat Sat is mentioned there. If you read the chapter, 17th chapter, Om Tat Sat. Let me go back. Yeah, see? So sacrifice, austerity and charity in the modes. And then chanting Om Tat Sat purifies activities. Srila Prabhupada used to write Om Tat Sat at the end of letters and sign the letter. You know, some people, they don't like Hare Krishna, you see. Some people, they say, oh, Hare Krishna, that's a religion. But if you can chant Om, they like that. You know, sometimes we have programs with people, and sometimes in yoga studios, or sometimes in schools and colleges, and some places they say, oh no, Hare Krishna, no, I'm a Christian, no, I'm not going to chant Hare Krishna. They don't like that, you know, they won't chant Hare Krishna. But you tell, okay, we just tell them Om, you can chant, and you know, well, they think that's all right, that's something we can chant. Om, of course, is a one-syllable mantra. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I'm the Pranava Sarva Vedeshu, I'm the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. So Om represents Krishna. So Om Tat Sat, that is chanted at the end of activities, and that purifies activities. And Krishna mentions that in Bhagavad Gita. There are many different mantras, you know, different names of God. We chant Hare Krishna mantra. We are following Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, are there any questions on this so far?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I have a question.
Yes.
As the Prabhupada was mentioning about the Barbary Street. So here in Pakistan, Maharaj, I don't know is it in India or not, but here in Pakistan, the transgenders who are just roaming and walking around the streets. So here it is a myth that to get the money, their only source is to beg in the street. and to give them like out of compassion we should give them. So like what should we do in that case if these kind of things come in front of us, like saying that their only source of income or only source of living is just by begging and all, especially in the case of transgenders?
Yes, well, what we usually do here in India and other places is, rather than give money, we will give prasadam. Devotees like to carry prasadam with them. And especially like if you're coming out of the airport, sometime, I don't know, I haven't seen recently, but I know in the past, when we come out of the airport, there used to be these children there. They would always come and they would ask money, but then they say, have you got prasadam? Because so many people will give them prasadam, and they get a taste for it. They like prasadam. So usually we don't like to give people money, because you give money, you don't know how it's going to be used. You give money to people, they can do all kinds of things with it. So we don't like to give them money, but we don't mind giving prasadam to people. We like to keep some kind of prasadam there to give them.
Yeah, but Maharaj, I was reading in one of a book of Srila Prabhupada in which he also mentioned about that portion, and in that he mentioned that if you give them a food and if doctor told them to avoid some kind of solid food because of or sugary food because of a diabetes, and if you will give that food, so that is also in the mode of ignorance. So in that case, what we should do if we are not aware about their health condition too?
Well, we give food. It doesn't have to be so sweet. It doesn't have to be very rich food or anything. You can just, whatever prasadam you happen to have, you give them. Maybe you have a samosa or something, or some piece of sandwich. Sometimes we give sandwiches. You take a sandwich. It doesn't have to be some high, very sweet. I mean, you're not going to give them ras malai or something like. Just give them a sandwich, or you give them an apple or something. It's nice to carry some fruit. I can give an apple or something like that to them. Okay.
Thank you,
doesn't do them any harm.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I have a question. That you told only by the cooking of the chicken we also get karma. So if we alcohol-based things like perfumes or eating like onion and garlic things, so does it mean that we are also getting karma?
Yes, well, things like onion and garlic, they're not sattvic. It's not something we offer to Krishna. Onion and garlic they're rajasic. They're actually aphrodisiacs, which means they stimulate the passion and lust in our body. We already have passion and lust in our body, and when you take things like onions and garlics, it just increases them. So, they say garlic, even its origin, it grew out from a dead cow. So it's not the nicest kind of food. People somehow, they like the taste. They think, if there's no onion, no garlic, there's no taste. But that's not true. If you can use things like hing, and hing, and when you're cooking, and that's like a substitute for onion. And the Buddhists also, they won't eat onion and garlic. They won't eat these kind of things. And definitely in a Vedic culture, onions and garlics are not there. It's a modern thing. It's very much the mode of passion and ignorance. So we do need to avoid these kind of things. Sometimes you may be in a situation like you can read in Prabhupada Lila Amrita, it describes how the devotees were at a program and they were invited to some big man's house and they were taking food and they were serving food, and while they were serving the food, one of the devotees said, "Oh, there's onion in this sabji." And Srila Prabhupada was there, and Prabhupada said, No, there's no onion in the sabji. And the devotee said, Prabhupada, there is. Prabhupada, there's onions in the sabji. Prabhupada said, there's no onion in the sabji. And Prabhupada, in other words, he wanted them to eat it, He didn't want to disturb the man. But Prabhupada himself didn't eat it. Prabhupada told the devotees, just take it, yourself. But Prabhupada himself didn't take it. So, sometimes in a situation, somebody is very important, you don't want to offend anybody, so you may take it, or you may just discreetly leave it on your plate, pick out the onions or something and leave them on the side. And sometimes, but you don't want to make a habit of that. That's on a very special situation. Some very important man, you may do it. You don't want to make a big fuss about it. That's the thing. Keep calm. And better to avoid them. Okay, a lot of hands are up here.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. But in some condition, like I am in my student life, I have no enough time to cook for myself. So what should I do? How can I get free from these foods or these things?
Well, you have to make some arrangements for yourself. You have to know where you can get food. Just like, I myself, I went to, I travel in countries like China, and sometimes I'd be teaching, and sometimes I would be studying, and like that. So, but I always managed to make my own food, to cook my own food. I never ate outside food, Of course, as a student, sometimes you don't get much facility for cooking, but you have to make some arrangements, find out what you can do, what you can eat, what is suitable and what's not. Find out places where you can eat, and you have to just spend a bit of time and work on it. And if you're serious, definitely you'll find that you can do it. But it's important because food is, it affects our consciousness. We say you are what you eat. So you eat food in the mode of goodness, it will reflect. You can reflect the mode of goodness. But if you eat food which is passion and ignorance, it will degrade us. And we eat food which is prasadam, it purifies the brain. You can think better. So
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Yeah, it's a question of determination. You have to be very determined to do it, But, I've had experience myself and I've managed to do it, and I'm sure you can. Okay, some other hands up, are there? Is it Sagar?
Yes, Maharaj. Sagar Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Ji Maharaj, just few days before I've gone for one festival, and in that festival these are getting facility. These are giving facility for devotees to cook food for us, but it's like a smell of garlic and onion after eating. But in that condition, what we should do? Because we these we are making food for us, and in that condition we feel like that one devotee eats it, and he feels like it's a garlic and only smell. So in that condition, what we do? If I reject this food, then
well, you have to let the man know about. Just doesn't know that you have a certain standard, that you don't usually eat onion and garlics. You know, if you point out to him that this is rajasic food, and this is not food which we offer in the temple, and it's chin, and just request him, you know, that we have this standard, that this is our code, we follow these principles. Our gurus all tell us like this. This is the acharyas. None of them are eating onion and garlic. You have to point it out to people. But sometimes we're just not strict enough. But if you tell people nicely about it, you know, explain to them. We've had many cases where people. I was just in Ahovalam in December. There, I went to Ahovalam in South India, and there's a guest house there, and the devotees were telling me that they have this place where they give prasadam to all the pilgrims, and they were cooking everything with onions and garlics there. But the devotees talked to the people who were cooking the food, and they told them, they said, you know, you shouldn't be giving onions and garlics, and they got them to stop, and they never cook onion and garlic. They told them, you know, this is not the standard. You want to give sanctified food stuff, there should not be these things, this onion and garlic. This is just a passion and ignorance. And you want to avoid these things. So it's a little effort in the beginning, but once make a little effort, it's worth it in the long run. That you have your standard, you have very clear standards, what you eat and what you don't. You see, this is it. In Bhagavad Gita is describing Pavritim cha nivritim cha janana vidur asuraha. Pavriti and nivriti, things you should do and things you should not do. We have to learn. We have to know clearly what is the standards. And we don't compromise. There's another standards there all over the world. It's all over the world, South India, my goodness, the people there, almost everybody, onion and garlic, they're very much fond of onion and garlics. But devotees won't take onion and garlic. The devotees, the Vaishnavas, they don't take onion and garlic. But common people, uncontrolled sense, they don't know. They eat everything. So we have to know what is the clear standard. We want to keep these standards. It's important for us. For our advancement in Krishna consciousness, you have to do these things. Control the tongue, right? Vachovigam. It's the very beginning. And the Upadeshamrita, nectar of instruction. Vacho vigam manasa krodha vigam. The tongue. If the tongue is controlled, then the belly is controlled. And then a lot of the agitation is stopped. But when you eat food like onions and garlic, very rajasic, they're aphrodisiacs. They increase the passion and lust. And they degrade people into sinful activities. Even their airline pilots, they're not allowed to take any garlics before they fly because it influences their judgment.
Raj, there's another hand raised by Doshna or Hitika Mataji, and then we have some having questions in the chat box too.
Yeah. So what's the question?
Please accept my humble obeisances. As you know, many cosmetics consist of alcohol, and we use that. So does it mean that we are consuming alcohol, or do we get the karma of it?
Well, alcohol, of course, you're not consuming it directly. It's going on the skin, not going on inside the belly. And generally the idea is alcohol is prohibited from drinking. But you're not drinking any alcohol. You're just using it on the skin. You say it's a cosmetic. Well, I'm sure there are other cosmetics, I'm sure you could find cosmetics which don't have alcohol. If you were more concerned about that, it's not a big deal. Alcohol, we do use alcohols and different things like medical treatments and so on, like that. There's some for purification. But if you wanted to be particular about it, I'm sure you could get more natural cosmetics rather than using alcohol.
Raj, we have some questions in the chat box. So Gayatri Mataji is asking. First, let me regarding the Hitika Mataji's questions. One Mataji is asking that, what about onion juice and coffee for the hairs? After use, like some people are using onion oil and coffee, some things of home remedies for the hair. So does that people also get karmas?
For the hair?
Yeah, for better growth of hair and for a glowing skin, some people use coffee paste.
Coffee paste.
Yeah, coffee paste, Maharaj. Some people use it on the skin so to get a brighter skin, and onion oil to get a long hairs, healthy and long hairs. So
Krishna. Well, yeah, like I said, I like with alcohol. It must be so smelly. My goodness, onions. They're so pungent, I don't know how they can tolerate the smell on your hair. Onions. Ugh. There's certainly there'll be other things which you can put on the hair. And for the skin, coffee paste. We do like to avoid these things, They're not the most pure things. Natural things are better. Find natural herbal things. Why we have to go to these kind of things, coffee and so on, onions.
some people even use eggs for better growth of hairs, Maharaj.
It's all nonsense, you see.
Yeah.
Don't need these things. Your hair, if you're healthy, your hair should grow in its natural, without all these. People are so people are very much misled. You know, we get influenced by other people. Oh, you do this, you do that. But try to be natural and stay away from all of these kind of things. Coffee and onions and garlics and so on. Not helping our Krishna consciousness. That's the thing.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, this is another question by Gayatri. She's asking, how can we always remember while preaching that we are preaching for pleasing Srila Prabhupada and not for the fame and respect? As sometimes when devotees start preaching, sitting on a Vyaspeeth or a Vyasasan, they think they are higher than others.
Yeah. They think they're higher than others. Yeah, well, the principle is that we offer obeisances to everyone. So before you sit on the high seat, first of all, we offer obeisances. And when you come down from the high seat, then you offer obeisances again. And when you're up on the high seat, you have to always remember that you're not really high, that you're just simply a servant. And we're just trying to repeat what we've heard from Srila Prabhupada. So that's the main point, you know, that when we are given a high seat of honor or something, we should always think that we're unqualified, but we're accepting it on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, that we're simply servants of Srila Prabhupada's mission, and we're taking that honor, whatever is being given to us, we are accepting it on behalf of Srila Prabhupada. That is all for him, actually. Now, whatever we do, it's not really our credit, but it goes to our spiritual teacher. All right, if we do good, then we give the credit to Guru and Krishna. But if we do bad, then it's our fault. Right? There was one devotee, he was cooking for the devotees, and the devotees were always enjoying his cooking, and they said, "Oh, Abai, your cooking is so good." And he would say, "Well, if it tastes good, then thank Guru and Krishna. But if it's not good, then you blame me." Right? So we say the other way, you know. We say, well, if it's not good, then it's Krishna's mercy. And if it's good, then I did it. I get the credit. We want to take the credit ourselves. So we're happy to give the credit to Guru and Krishna. That's the main thing. So we want to remember we're simply tiny servants in the service of Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada's in the service of his Guru, and it's all going to Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, did Sagar have another question, was it?
Yes, Maharaj. He's Sagar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, my internet connection is not very well. Sometimes he sudden off. Yes, Maharaj. 2 days ago, I went in festival, and at that festival, in that festival, the pupils, they are making food for devotees. Nowadays, the preaching, the Krishna consciousness is spread in our community, and very fast mood. And in that mood, these people are making food for devotees. But when we take one bite of food, and after one devotee said that it's a smell of garlic and onion in food. And what should we do? at that time, because these people are making food for us. If just say I reject it, I don't eat it. So in that condition, people in front of the people not feel well, because these people are making food for us. And matlab ye कि I don't know what should we do at that time.
Well, if they're making food for us, they should not be using onion and garlic. You have to make it very clear to them. Certainly you do find places where they cook, like in Singapore, there's many vegetarian restaurants. Practically all the vegetarian restaurants, they cook with onions and garlic. It's very rare that there's a restaurant which does not cook onion and garlic. Only a devotee restaurant will cook without onion and garlic. All these other places, so many vegetarian restaurants are there, they're all using onion and garlic. So people think this is the standard. They don't know. You have to tell them very clearly that no, we are Vaishnava, and the Vaishnava standard does not take onion and garlic. You have to make it very clear to them. You just tell them that they must be if they're putting onion and garlic, then definitely you don't want to be taking that food. You can do without it. You have to be firm. You have to tell. Just of course be polite, but at the same time let them know what is the standard. Now, if these people are devotees, they should know this. If they say they are devotees, then they should know this. So maybe I don't know, maybe they're using pots which have already been used for cooking before. So if you cook in pots which had onions and garlics in before, then the smell and the taste will be there. Even though there's no onion and garlic, the taste can still be there. It can be transmitted through the pot and through the kitchen utensils, just in the cooking. The food will still have that taste, even though there's no onion and garlic there. So you have to look into these things. Yeah, I'm just. Tell them, you say, why is it so much, it tastes like onion and garlic. And tell them, we're devotees and we're not supposed to take onion and garlic. And maybe it's a problem with the pots. You don't know. Okay. No more, everybody's questions are finished?
Yes, Maharaj. There are no more questions on the chat box.
Okay, so we'll stop here today. And next week we'll come on to the 18th chapter.
Okay, Maharaj.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Holiness Bhakti Vigna Vinasa Maharaj ki jai.
Back to Vrinda ki jai.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare
Krishna Maharaj.
Thank you so much,
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Monday को classes है. Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. जो चलेगा सो चले गए. तो आना है. उसके बाद I think वही week हमारा exam भी होगा. So I will inform you in the group. ठीक है? Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.